pick up on here?
Well, I wish we were talking more about education in the high school years and in the years prior to high school, because there is no point in providing access for students who are unprepared for the rigors of college. And the reality is that 80% of the students who are in remedial courses in college had 3.0 GPAs. They're suffering from incredibly inflated scores. So how do we manage to talk about this issue of post-secondary education and relate it to the quality of education that students are receiving? It is just not fair to allow students to get through high school without having taken college preparatory courses, without having taken the Core 4, and then to say to them, we will provide you access and opportunity, we will give you a chance to go to college, when they are completely unprepared to do the work of college. And then they get there and they feel terrible about themselves, they feel that they have failed when in fact they haven't been equipped. They hold incredible levels of debt that they're unable then to repay because they can't reach a degree that is commensurate with the debt they assumed. So we need to connect education, quality academics to this conversation, and until we do that, we as a community are not doing our work.
So do we blame?
We're not blaming anybody. This is not a blame game. There is no blame here. This is just about speaking truth.
So we know there's a disconnect between what's going on in the universities and in the high schools. But the question I would ask is, what do universities do to reach out to high schools, to inform the high schools of what they should be doing?
I'm not smart enough to tell you what the answer is. I'm telling you that everybody has a role in this. And the high schools shouldn't be looking at what the colleges are doing. The high schools should be looking about what can they do in the high schools to provide a quality education. If we have, we have higher education, state universities in this state that are graduating students at 21%. We are throwing away billions of dollars. That is not okay. That college and those colleges, they have to deal with that. That's their business. Those of us who are in high school space need to make sure that the quality of education in those high schools is as good as the best high school in our region. And so far, that isn't happening. And the same thing is true with our college preparation and access services. We need to each do our job and not point fingers and not blame. But the fact is, the people who are suffering are the students. They are not being given a fair deal. They're not being, and for us to talk about access without connecting it deeply to the quality of education is, it is just wrong thinking, because the primary reason that students don't succeed in post-secondary education, at least in pursuit of their bachelor's degree and associate's degree, is academics, followed closely by finances. And that's the data. That's the data, period.
And I understand where you're coming from completely with that. Absolutely, I would be behind a complete overhaul of K through 12 so that we're on the same page locally, as a state, regionally, as a nation, because there does seem to be inconsistencies with the quality of education that students are receiving in K through 12. And definitely that's a huge conversation, and we can't necessarily point to one thing. There's a lot of deficiencies as far as the standards go, funding where it's needed in the K through 12 system to offer programs to get students academically equipped, whether they choose to go to college or into a trade. I'd be the first one behind you to agree with you on that statement. But also, unfortunately, with your service that you have, we can't glaze over the fact that now we have lots of students who've gotten so far in through the K through 12 system that there's not going to be an easy fix to this situation. So, I think that the works that you're doing are great in assisting students so that they understand how to, navigate the access into college and the things that they need to do in order to be successful in college. But that's a lot of burden for your program to bear, any of these independent programs to bear. So working collectively certainly provides the best services to our students to encourage them. But definitely I would agree with you that academic backbone, that piece that comes through K through 12, you know, that's definitely a serious conversation that we need to have.
Faith, let's go back to the study with that St. Louis graduates did. Can you